what I'm getting at here is the key is you want to have your aerodynamic center behind the CG, but to be trimmed in the first place, your center of lift at trim needs to be at the CG. So it looks something like CG and then AC behind it, and then I guess I'll just use an empty circle for center of lift. It doesn't actually need to be below. I just couldn't draw it directly on top of the center of gravity, so I just did it directly under it. But the forces are acting vertically. So it's in the same X position. So in order to separate the center of lift from the aerodynamic center, if we look back at this diagram, right, if you change the areas, then you'll change the center of lift and the aerodynamic center together. The only way that you can change the center of lift without affecting the aerodynamic center is affecting how much incidence you started off with, as in what's in the black boxes. And how you do that is you change the lift that you start off with, which is your incidence angles, or how much camber you have. And so basically, putting more camber on the front wing shifted our center of lift forward because we added more lift forward. So the average of all the lift moved forward. But the aerodynamic center didn't move at all, because for this wing here, the added lift, the extra angle of attack here, just gets added on top of whatever lift is already there. And again, this happens to be because we're in the linear region. So you can think of it as before you apply any camber or incidence, your center of lift is at the aerodynamic center, which is behind the CG. You apply your camber on the front surface and move it to get it on top of the CG to get you trimmed. So that's roughly how you want to design it. Alternatively, you could leave the wing relatively straight and put a negative incidence angle. Oh, it's a great airfoil. A negative incidence angle or a downforce on your horizontal stabilizer. That still moves the center of lift forward, because you're applying a negative back here. If it was positive back here, it would move towards it. Since it's negative back here, it moves away from it. So that'll also move your center of lift to get it on the CG as you need it to be.